Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. So nice to see everyone today. Wow. There's a lot of people who either like the Arcada, the pipe organ, or Jim Schaefer. All three. Or you're just here to see this suit. How many? No, my name is Ron Onesti. I know many of you, and some of you I just met today, and I'm very, very happy to meet you folks. We've got this place now for about 8 years, and we've been keeping it going. And when we first got here, I was obviously just blown away by the history and by the splendor and just the architecture and the design, everything about this place, right? Just beautiful. We've done our best to kind of fix it up and clean it up and bring it back to the way it was September 6, 1926, when, thank you. When you would walk in here on that Labor Day weekend, this is kind of what you saw. The speakers were a little smaller. The video screens are a little, no, we didn't have speakers or video screens back then. It was 1926, a little different. But, all the things that when they showed me around, said, you got this, we got that, you got to fix this and fix that. And one of the things that, probably the thing that really pushed me over the edge was this one fixture that they had here. That was... The fixture was very interesting because it seemed like it was a little weathered, little tattered, but still in great working order. It squealed a little once in a while, made a little weird noises once in a while. But after I really looked into this fixture, I thought, wow, this place really does have great history and a great legacy to foster. And that fixture was Jim Schaefer. And I had you going on that, didn't I? Like, what was it, the plumbing? Was it the... No, really, it was, you look at a guy like that and he talks about it and the passion and everything just oozes out of his pores. And, I'm like, this, my brother and I talked about it and we just, this is really a special place. It must be when you have a guy like Jim Schaefer here. And now I'd like to bring up, I have to bring up our guest of honor today. Really, he's a very, very, is he down there? Nice. Just want to make sure you're awake, Jim, that's all. Now, you know what? What can you say about this guy? And when people say, what can you say that hasn't been said already? Well, a lot, because he's really a quiet giant. He really is. I mean, there hasn't been a lot said about him. He's just been here doing his thing. And I can tell you, it's if I go near it, he just like slaps my hand. It's like, wait a second. But he's a very special individual to us. And I coined a phrase. We call him our resident rock star. Because he really, really is. He's, when you define what a rock star is, right? A rock star just makes people go into a frenzy, and they live for their music, and they've got tons of fans, actual fans. They love the music and love their craft, and by all definitions, he's a rock star, and I just can't say enough about him. And I don't know how this actually came to me to do this today, in a sense that, we talk about the pipe organ and we talk about Jim. Jim is, it's like the keys and Jim, it's just all connected. And someone said, we're doing renovations, because we're constantly renovating, are you going to get rid of the pipe organ? Because look at it. I mean, it's an eyesore. It's in the middle, and you can't. Matter of fact, we're doing another Showtime special in a month, and we have to, every time we do that, we have to build out the stage to cover the organ because of TV and stuff, and it's a lot of money. And I said, there isn't a chance. I said, and if right away, even if I thought about it, even if it came to me at all, how would I tell that to Jim? I mean, Jim would turn into one of the Sopranos at that moment. He put on a little fedora, he'd have me whacked. Jim would do that. But no, I mean, he epitomizes really what dedication and passion is all about. And that's why I wanted to officially dedicate this instrument to Jim so that generations to come will know about this guy, even though he's an outlived us all. I know that because of the way he moves and his physical condition. I mean, it's unbelievable. You got to understand, he's got to jump in there and walk on all fours, and when he's got to go up and service the organ and the pipes, he's up ladders. I couldn't do it. I mean, not at my age. So, please welcome our resident rock star, Jim Schaefer. Wow, huh? How many of you can do what he just did? Just that, jump over that. I sure as heck couldn't do that. It's on. Hi, Jim.
Hi, Ron.
So, from 1 to 1,000, exactly how nervous are you right now?
Very.
Yeah. Well, you are amongst friends and family and people who love you, so you really should be nervous.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I can't use the excuse of hitting the wrong notes anymore since we tuned the thing. I used to be able to use
Well, that was awesome. You must have been lip syncing on that because that was amazing. No, you know, Jim, I'm almost embarrassed because as long as we've been working together, as long as you've been here, I don't know as much about you as I would like to.
Oh,
So first of all, what is your visa number? Can you write that down for me?
I gave you a number, but it's empty.
Oh, okay. Your checking account, anything, nothing?
That's empty too.
Let me ask you a question. So, you know, it's like trying to find out, like, exactly how old Santa Claus is, you know? There's all these stories. One thing I have been asking you is, really, how long have you been here? I've gotten many, many stories from you.
Oh, I don't know, about maybe 40 years.
Well, let me ask you, how did you get here? How did you land here at the Arcada?
I think I took a wrong turn somewhere. Well, a very good friend of mine, and most everybody knows him, Bill Barry, was the man that broke me in. And this is where we started working on organs. And that's where it all started from, so give credit to Bill Barry, who's been gone now about a year, roughly. A very good friend of mine, so.
And your background, tell us a little bit about your background, railroad.
Well, I worked for the Burlington Railroad for about 45 years and retired in 97, I think it was. And so seems like I kind of sometimes wish I was back working so I can get some rest. Retirement isn't made out like it's like everybody says.
So you worked for the railroad for 45 years.
Yes.
And you've been here for about 40 years or so.
Yeah, 40 years.
About the same. Okay. Now, tell us a little bit about where the stuff is in this building. For example, what's behind, people think that's where Lincoln got shot, or they think that's where the Muppets hang out. I mean, I've heard it all. But these chambers here, tell us about that.
Well, the two main chambers are there behind the blue curtains and on the other side. And there's also a chamber in the back above the balcony. It's called the echo chamber. And although it doesn't sound much like an echo, almost sounds like the sound is coming from here, but it's really in the back. There's 10 ranks of pipes over here, which was the original organ from 1926. And then a few years later, they decided they want a bigger organ, so Geneva Organ Company came in and installed the 3-manual organ console.
So this was 1926 originally, and then
was
this
a later one.
So this was 1929. Did you say
About
3 years?
29 or
Yep.
30 along in there. And then they also installed more pipes on this side and the echo chamber. And one thing that we didn't do yet are the bells. I forgot to show those, but the bells are dummies and the chimes are up there. And we have a switch on the organ, a tab that will make the bells swing, and you can play the chimes. It looks like sounds like the bells are ringing. So we're going to have a wedding here one of these days.
We've got several weddings we've had here, and we've got one major one. My brother Rich is getting married here.
How about that?
And, yep.
Believe me, it's not me.
Yeah, when's your wedding going to happen over here?
Well, I don't want to rush into these things.
Come on, isn't he great or what? So, so now give us a couple things since you've been here so long, really. Over the past 40 years, how have you seen, what is your perception of how this place has changed?
Well, of course, it all changes to the good. And keeping a theater like this up is no picnic. And it takes a lot of bucks. And little by little, it comes back and it gets a little more modernized. You have to get up with the times, and we had to get rid of the gas lamps. No, I'm just kidding. We weren't that far back.
I know. Candles.
We did have a few stories about Mr. Capone being here at one time, and we have tours here occasionally, and Ron gives the tours, and it seems like every time Ron tells a story in the tour, there's another tunnel under the river. And I don't know how many bodies are in that tunnel down there.
You got to tell people what they want to hear, Jim. It's entertainment. So 40 years, so you're talking, you've been here since about the 70s, right, or so,
yes,
late 60s?
about that.
Because I am a genius at math. I figured that one out. So late 60s or so. So from the 60s to the 70s, because from what I understand, in 1968, that's when the seats were changed over from the original. There was originally 1,014 seats in here, and then it went down to 900. Yes, that's true. With the advent of Twinkies and McDonald's in America, they literally had to make the seating, a little bit wider for Americans. But in '68, and I saw pictures of it, and it was like typical 1960s psychedelic. The walls, I believe, were all white with red, bright fire engine red paint. It was really, really something. And then later in the 80s, they did, in 1983, they did another big renovation as well that brought it back to kind of the way it was. Mm-hmm. And then since then, it's been an annual process. But back in the movie days, I mean, from the 60s to around when we were here a few years before, wasn't this just primarily movies here?
Yes, pretty much movies. They had movies in the evenings, some night during the week, and weekends, of course, all day, Saturday and Sunday maybe. There's still the projector up in the projector's booth. At one time there was 2 projectors up there, which is the way they had to show movies. And then in later years they upgraded that to a more modern system where they could get the film set up and automatically started from behind the candy counter, so they didn't have to have a projectionist up there. And then in later years we got to the what do you call it, the VCRs.
Oh, those newfangled contraptions.
Contraptions, yeah. And so there was also stage shows here, and like they said earlier, you had some of the old timers on stage way back in the vaudeville days, and that was really fun to see. And as you can see today, the carpet in the middle here, Ron's got it set up so that you can have the seats in here for the shows, or you can have a banquet in here. Sometimes there's a wood floor goes on top of this, and there's been dances in here. And there's been weddings, and so far, no funerals yet, I don't think. I'm thinking about it.
Well, you haven't seen my bottom line on some of these shows. Yeah, it was quite the wake. I had to look at those numbers. But so what I want to know is, though, I mean, you're so passionate about this instrument, and from what I understand, it's not like you, when you were 5 and 6 years old, you got lessons and did all that stuff. Later on in life, you got involved in this, and why do you think that you've got so much passion for this instrument?
You know, I don't know. I can't tell you. It just seems like that's something that you like to hear. When I was high school, I had records, organ records, and I like to listen to them. And I originally was brought up in Pennsylvania, and I came out to Illinois in 1953 and got involved with the organ club, and just kind of went on from there.
Oh, I see. So you got involved in an organ club here?
Here in Illinois, yes.
I see. And then Cato formed.
Cato formed about 1960, along in there somewhere.
And you were one of the founding fathers of the organization?
No, my good friend Bill Berry was one of the founders, and there's some other people here too tonight. I can't remember everybody, but there are some original founders here in the audience tonight that got Cato started.
Congratulations. Big round of applause for these people. It's a great organization.
One of the big places that they came from was the Elm Roller Rink. Everybody remember the Elm Roller Rink?
Wow.
Had a great old pipe organ in it with Tony Talman playing. And Tony was another one of the founders of the organization.
Well, I'll tell you, one of the things just one of the coolest things about this place is when we would do the silent films and have the organ playing along with it, and we're going to do that today for you also, and as a little special treat. And it's just amazing how that all would work. I mean, if you think about it, and then we do the tours, we say this, a lot of them, especially with the kids, do you know what silent films are? And the kids would say there's no sound. And I said, that's not necessarily true. There's maybe no talking, but the sound comes from the pipe organ. And it's not just, the interesting thing you got to keep in mind, things you take for granted when you sit and think about it, they not only they didn't just play music, it was synchronized music with the plot, with the plot of the movie. Or if there was a teapot on the stove, that sound would have to come from the pipe organ. Or if there was horses coming in, the clattering, that all came from the pipe organ. And so that person had to know, not only know, but as you can see, sit there and look up the whole time at the film. So, you know, wasn't very comfortable. So it's an amazing talent that those people, those men and women, still to this day, really have. And when I'd sit here grabbing a box of hot popcorn and watching a silent film, listen to the organ. I mean, sure, we have Neil Sedaka and Kenny Loggins and Don Rickles and all these great shows, but none of them can compare to the true talent and true entertainment value of the organ players with the silent films. It's really amazing. And Jim, you've it's true. And Jim, you taught us that. You taught us that appreciation. Because hadn't you been here, probably neither would the organ. Neither would a lot of the enjoyment the organ and you and your friends have provided. Because I'm the first one to admit I had zero appreciation or understanding of the pipe organ. You know, I thought you hear pipe organ music, you got to skate. I mean, that's what works. That's what happens. You roller skate and that's it. That's all there was to it. But you taught us so much about it and how to appreciate it, and just what a fascinating and amazing instrument. And also, I want to pay a special tribute to your friends that are here. And I'll tell you what, again, unsung heroes. You know, a lot of people like to give me a lot of compliments, and it's very kind and generous. But, you know, nobody does it without having a team. And Jim's team is truly one of the main reasons why we are still here, and definitely I'm still here. So where is everybody? Where's Bob Lynn? Bob, where you at? Stand up, Bob. I know it's hard. Oh, you're up there. Where's Stan? And Lee and Jane. Who am I missing? Who else is here? There you guys are. Please, big round of applause for all these people who give us a hand. Now I got a little presentation for you, Jim. Because what we're going to do, we're having something made to actually put, and I want the Cato David and the Cato people to promise me that no matter whatever happens, the plaque that dedicates this organ to Jim Schaefer is as respected and stays on there as long as the ranks and whatever the heck else you call on this, it stays on there because it belongs there. It's a piece of the history just like any other part of it. So, and it's going to say this, this is the one you're going to take home with you. Because in case you ever need a hammer, put something. How could you not love that picture up there? Isn't that picture beautiful? So, I'll be honest with you, these ladies are kind of squirming their seats. He's available, but he doesn't drive at night, so. And it says, this 1928 modern Fulton pipe organ is lovingly dedicated to Jim Schaefer, a man who unselfishly dedicates his life to the Arcada Theater. The organ is the soul of the theater. Jim is its heart. He is our resident rock star, and his music will live forever and reside in our hearts. With much gratitude from us, and July 29th, 2012, we love you. We love you, Jimmy! What's your acceptance speech?
Amen.
Well, I'll tell you what. He's all embarrassed, a little emotional. It's phony. He couldn't care less. He'd rather be home. He's waiting for cake. I know. That's the other perk of being a part of Cato. Free cake.